ahead on 12 News, not enough snow. Sunday provided a taste of winter, but see how we're still way behind the norm. Then 90 years in business, the secret to a Maple Grove company's longevity. But first, Osseo's icon, the symbol of the city that may need to come down. 12 News starts right now. It's been a fixture for nearly 100 years, but changes will soon be coming to Osseo's historic water tower. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Alexandra Renslow. The Osseo City Council will have to determine just what those changes are to the city's iconic water tower. And as Delane Cleveland reports, the council's decision will reshape the face of the city forever.
It's a big feature for Osseo.
Talk to nearly anyone who lives
with Osseo. It is one of the more smaller towns, kind of in a big suburban area.
or visits the city of Osseo.
It's got that small town spirit to it.
And you'll hear rave reviews about the small town feel.
A little bit of country in the city, I think.
Towering above this so-called country in the city, as it has since 1915,
You know, it's historical.
is the old Osseo Water Tower.
You know, connection with history.
In fact, the water tower is featured prominently on the city's official logo.
It does kind of, like I say, show that small town Osseo kind of feeling.
And on the decorative banners along Central Avenue.
It just speaks of country. It speaks of times of the past.
Talk to city officials, and even they will acknowledge the tower's significance.
We have nothing else that declares this is Osseo any better than that water tower.
However, the tower no longer serves any function now that water is pumped in from Maple Grove. And like all things from the past, the tower has begun to show its age.
There's structural defects, and the ladder is broken on the top of the tower. We're not sure what the roof looks like because we haven't been able to go up there and look at it.
In addition, it's covered with lead-based paint, which needs to be repainted due to peeling, a job that isn't cheap.
If you look at the long run, in the next 50 years, you're probably looking at $500,000-$600,000 to keep that tank up.
The alternative would be to take the tank down at a cost of $80,000. Now, the Osseo City Council has to weigh the options of historical significance against fiscal responsibility.
I would have been okay with a little bit more in taxes to keep it.
That from a couple that doesn't pay taxes here. But talk to someone who does.
The water tower, I'm not losing sleep over it.
And the feeling changes.
It's a water tower. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to want my money spent on, I'd rather have roads and, you know, have things that are plowed and, you know.
In Osseo, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Osseo officials say the city has a $2 million budget, so if the council approves the repairs, it would mean either cutting services or increasing taxes.
Plymouth police continue to investigate an incident in which a man accidentally shot himself inside a grocery store bathroom. Police say the man shot himself in the lower leg Sunday afternoon at the Rainbow Foods on Vinewood Lane. The injury is not life-threatening. Police say the man accidentally dropped the gun when it went off. No one else was in the restroom at the time. Well, last night's ice and snow caused problems for drivers, but by Minnesota standards, it's still a pretty wimpy winter.
That's right. For more than 40 years, Steve Reckers has measured snow and rainfall for the Weather Service in his backyard. He says even with 3 inches of snow on Sunday night, we are still as much as 8 inches behind normal for the month of January. That comes on top of what was a very dry summer and fall.
We need the moisture badly, yeah. December was pretty good for us, but some of December we had some frozen ground, and so some of that ran off. We had an above normal amount both of snow and moisture in December, but it had been so dry since August that we've got a lot of catching up to do.
So far this season, Steve has only measured 21 inches of snowfall. That leaves us about 10 inches below normal for the winter.
Beginning this spring, 50 Brooklyn Park homeowners will have a special chance to make needed repairs.
When the housing crisis really hit our city, one of the forgotten parts that people talk about foreclosures, but people forget about senior citizens.
Well, the city got a check of nearly $300,000 from the Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines today to help homeowners do repairs that they might not otherwise be able to afford. City officials say it goes a long way toward making neighborhoods healthy.
If it's a nice, pleasant place to live, and I don't mean it has to be $1 million homes, it can be a story and a half, so it can be whatever. But if it's a nice area to live in, it helps provide hope for people. And that's a big piece of what makes a community.
The program has proven to be popular. In a previous round of funding, 80 homes were repaired with an infusion of nearly $500,000. These are loans that are forgiven after the homeowner lives there for 5 years. The city will start taking applications in the spring.
Could it be a transit game changer, one that could speed up construction of the Bottineau light rail line? Governor Dayton's budget proposal released last week is getting favorable feedback from transit advocates. The governor is proposing a 1/4-cent sales tax in the 7-county metro to provide a permanent stream of money for LRT construction. Right now, construction for the Bottineau line is about 3 to 4 years away, and that's assuming that the project gains all the necessary approvals. 3 years after a devastating earthquake hit Haiti, survivors there struggle to live without the bare necessities.
This week, a Golden Valley church is calling on neighbors to help deliver nourishing meals to those there who need them most. Renee Bonneau shows you how a few hours of volunteer work can feed a child for a whole year.
Who here is 8 years old? How many pounds do you weigh?
Monday morning, 2nd and 3rd graders from the School of Engineering and Arts left their classroom and their comfort zone to learn a powerful lesson.
This is Omar, 8 years old, 19 pounds. This is an awful, awful picture, am I right?
They're here at Calvary Lutheran Church in Golden Valley, not just to hear about how hunger affects children in Haiti, they're here to do something about it. With help from the nonprofit Feed My Starving Children, they're packing meals made of rice, soy, vegetables, and a mix of vitamins and minerals to send to Haitians in need.
We talked about the kids that need help, so we need to, get this, don't mess it up, we have to do this right.
Nobody will go hungry, so they can live a little longer.
9-year-old Toby Johnson is a member at Calvary Church. He's done this 3 times before.
Some of them lost their parents, some of them lost their homes, and it's fun that we can help other people, and it's also fun to pack. Over here.
Good job, guys.
It's amazing what you can do for a cause when you have a group of people working together.
This effort is part of an annual week-long food packing event at Calvary. For the last 4 years, the church has sent much-needed, nutritious food to the poverty-stricken people of Haiti.
Haiti has one of the poorest slums in the Western Hemisphere. It's an area that needs help, and it needed help right after the earthquake, but it also needed help before the earthquake.
The goal for the week, to pack 750,000 meals.
Calvary Lutheran Church expects about 3,500 volunteers to help out with the event. And if they reach their goal, they'll be able to feed more than 2,000 people for an entire year.
While the recipients of these meals benefit greatly from this group's work, these kids will gain something as well.
It's a way that we can show kids that they can make a difference.
In Golden Valley, Renee Bonneau, 12 News.
Calvary still needs volunteers for the week-long packing event. You can call them at 763-231-2988 to register for a shift. The meals will be shipped out next week. Well, still in business 90 years later.
We stop by a Maple Grove hardware store that's managed to change with the times. And later in sports, Wayzata and Edina battle in a key Lake Conference hockey game.
But first, a little bit of snow arrives overnight. A coating of up to an inch could be enough to slow the morning commute. Well, you have to go way back to 1923 when Warren G. Harding was president to discover the origins of a local business now celebrating 90 years.
Levon Brothers Plumbing and Hardware is a fixture in Maple Grove. In today's Business Matters report, we take a look at how this 4th-generation family-owned business has managed to stay in business for 9 decades.
Levon Plumbing and Hardware.
This Maple Grove shop is the kind of place you come for answers.
I'd say your average life of water heater is around 10 years.
An old-school hardware store with aisles of tools and parts.
55 cents a foot for the 3/8 because it's a little thicker walled.
Levon Brothers is that small family-owned business that used to be the norm before the big box.
We try and stress the service and the expertise that we've got. So, people keep coming back because they know they can come in and get something and get out quickly and get the right thing the first time.
Manager Andy Levon is 4th generation, but it was his great-grandfather, Art, and his brothers who started Levon Brothers Plumbing in North Minneapolis back in 1923.
And there's a faded picture of a Model T Levon Brothers Ford here. So that was one of our, early on plumbing trucks.
90 years ago, plumbers used a horse and buggy or rode the streetcar to answer a service call.
A plumbing bill to do the entire plumbing for an entire house in North Minneapolis. The total came out to $68.14 for the whole house.
The prices and modes of transportation have changed, but Levon Brothers is still a plumbing business, in addition to a hardware store, which Andy's father, Lauren Levon, bought in 1994.
When the hardware store gets slow, the business and the plumbing seems to be a little bit better, and so they can help each other out that way.
That's helped sustain this business, but its longevity is best explained by a loyal customer base.
At least once a month, I would say. I'm sure I come in here at least once a month for something.
A broken snowblower brought Dennis Peterson in today, but he's a regular because of the expertise.
Some things I really need some help on, I come here because they can help you more than the big stores can.
The roots of good customer service go back 90 years for this business, and the younger generation believes that's just as relevant today as in 1923.
They always try and put the customer first, and that's what we try and do also.
The Levon Brothers store begins celebrating 90 years in business in February. And that's no small milestone, especially for a small business. Coming up, buying Girl Scout cookies gets even easier.
See how the Girl Scouts have a smart solution to selling. But first in sports, a great Park Center boys basketball team from the 1990s comes to celebrate the success of this year's team. John Jacobson is that when we come back. It's always good to be number one in your sport. I guess it's better, though, if you can stay number one. Maybe you have to work your way back once in a while.
Well, and you play some tough teams, and this is what happens. But, there's still section time coming up in about 5 weeks or so. Wayzata's young boys hockey team moved into the number one spot on the state rankings a couple of weeks ago, but it's a treacherous road in the Loaded Lake Conference. After losing to Minnetonka Thursday, the Trojans hope to bounce back when they hosted Edina Saturday night. Edina gets on the board as Tyler Nanny's shot deflects off the defenseman's stick and beats Aaron Dingman. The Hornets lead 1-0 after one. Then Wayzata comes alive. The Edina clearing attempt takes a bad bounce right to Maxwell Zimmer. He fires the shot home to tie the game 1-1 early in the second. Then Zimmer puts a shot on net, and Akash Bantra knocks it out of the air past Willie Benjamin. It's 2-1 Trojans. After Edina ties it, Wayzata gets one on the power play. Jack Sorensen sets up Chad Olson for the tap-in. It's 3-2 Trojans. Edina gets the next two goals. Dylan Malmquist outweights Dingman. He buries it into the open net to make it 3-3. Later in the second, Andy Jordahl hits Malmquist going to the net for the deflection. It's 4-3 Hornets. Kurt Giles' team adds one early in the third. Ben Hull's shot from the point finds its way through traffic and in. Edina wins 5-4. Park Center has spent the last month or so as the top-ranked team in the largest class of Minnesota boys basketball. The last Pirates team to accomplish that, the 1990-91 Pirates that finished the season 23-1. 12 of the 15 players on that roster were honored at halftime of Friday night's game against Maple Grove. Each player was individually introduced, including the late Rob Berthume, who had died in a car accident a few years after graduation. That team's only loss came to Minneapolis Roosevelt in the Region 5AA final. It's a special night in the old Park Center gym for the 91 Pirates.
It's great. We're all fatter and slower and older, but life's changed a lot for us. It's not about which clique you're in or how cool you are in school anymore. We're all raising families and having kids and having careers. So it was a lot of fun getting back together and seeing that everybody's doing well. And this whole event kind of just bound us together again.
The alums got to see the 2012-2013 Pirates team win their sixth game in a row as they beat Maple Grove 73-69. Park Center plays at Armstrong Tuesday night. The Heritage Christian Academy boys basketball program has improved in recent seasons. The Eagles are now a top 10 team in Class A, and on Saturday they hosted an 8-team event called the Super 60 Showcase. The Eagles facing Minneapolis Patrick Henry for their game. Heritage grabs a quick lead. Zach Weld drives and hits the tough shot. And then Weld with an assist, passing to Drew Kleinschmidt. He scores with a left hand and draws the foul. It's a tight game throughout the first half. Jamar Boone goes strong to the goal and scores. He nets 19 points for Henry. Brad Basco strokes the three for the Eagles, and they take the lead at halftime, 42-36. Second half, Kleinschmidt scores a tough hoop inside and is fouled. And then it's Basco finding Weld open for three to give Heritage a 62-53 lead. Weld scores 18 points on the day. Henry hangs around, thanks in large part to Darius Hill. He scores 22 points for the Patriots. Kleinschmidt comes up big for Heritage. His first shot here blocked, but he stays with it, gets the basket and the foul. Kleinschmidt scores a game-high 24, and the Eagles win 78-64. In girls basketball, Maple Grove hosted Park Center as the Pirates look to make it a season sweep over the Crimson. Kayla McMorris with a three for Park Center, and the Pirates start the game on a 12-0 run. But Maple Grove chips away. Kayla Jones with a three. That ties it at 17. Hannah Shaw penetrates and passes to McKenna Dubois for the jump shot. Pirates lead at 33-23 at halftime. Second half, Kylie Brown floats the pass inside to McMorris, who scores. Angie Davison answers back for the Crimson. She makes a long three-pointer. But McMorris will hit Holly Sorensen for two here, and Park Center gets a big win, 63-54. And that's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, an opportunity to support the troops and satisfy your sweet tooth.
That special sale that's about to begin when we come back.
And finally, here's a question. How many Girl Scout cookies does it take to fill a moving truck?
The answer is a lot. Boxes and boxes. This was distribution day as Scout leaders lined up to collect a truckload of Do-si-dos, Thin Mints, and Tagalongs in Brooklyn Park today. They'll take them back to the Scouts, who will then sell them over the next 6 weeks. Sarah Oy was picking up 960 boxes for her Brooklyn Park troop.
It's more funding for them to go to camp, do extra, get their badges. We need this money so they can get their badges and go to camp. We'll go door to door, sell to family, and then we do cookie booths. So if you see cookie booths out at like Walmart, buy from them because it's supporting the troops.
Well, there's even an app that you can put on your smartphone to help you find the Girl Scout cookie booth that is closest to your home. And they go on sale Saturday. Which
Just
is your
what we all really, really need, right?
Yeah, really. Which is your favorite?
I like the Savannahs. Those are super good.
All right. Thin Mints.
Thin Mints.
Take them out right out of the freezer. Great. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here Tuesday at 4.